Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom. Start your day off well. And I like this card. I think it's going to be good. I want to do a guided imagery with it because I really like this particular card to sink deeply within because I think it's going to adjust a host of ills in our world. So we'll give it a minute as people start popping on. Oh, I see a number one there. We'll see who actually has joined us. So if you want to put your name in the feed or wave or whatever, that'd be awesome. Glad you're popping in here. We've got another person. Good morning, Morgan. Welcome, welcome. I was just thinking about you. Awesome. Welcome to today. This is a good card. It's from the Nature Portals deck. Good morning, Ruth Ann. Glad you are here. And like I said, I want to do a little guided imagery with it because I think it will help really sink this one home, which would be important. So, good morning, Abigail. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm already hearing the heavy machinery over at the middle school where they're adding a humongous addition. So that should make for a noisy morning. I was also just at dawn. There was a seagull calling. And I'm like, that's kind of odd for this time of day and this location. I mean, we have a river, but I'm not all that close to it, but it was interesting. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. And now the little birds in the hedge are wishing everybody a good morning. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you're here. So let us start with some breath because everything moves on the breath. So a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting your shoulders drop in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just settling in. And one more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm noticing I don't have my earrings on. I put one earring in, everything's fine. Put the other earring in, no back. I was too lazy to run back upstairs. So we're going earringless for the moment, but I'll get it taken care of for later in the day because my friend Kathy and I are going out for a lovely dinner at Victoria's. And then we have tickets to the PAC for I, Tina, which is about the life story of Tina Turner. So I think that will be an awesome day. And my morning is pretty open. So I'm going to play some catch up and take some journaling time. Good morning, good morning. Glad you're all here. So as I said, we have a card from the Nature Portals deck, Bruce and Carol Malner, Inspiration Through the Peace and Beauty of Nature. And I want to read the first part of the card and read the quote. But then for the second part of the card, I'd like to do the guided imagery. So here is our card. Good morning, Gwen. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Chrissy. Glad you are here. We have a web on the card today, and the heading is Realize Your Place in the Web of Life. Good morning, Joniel. Realize your place in the web of life. And so I'm going to just read part of the card, and then we're going to do a little exercise with it, some guided imagery, because I feel like creating this connection more fully is a good thing at this point. Realize your place in the web of life. Like the strands in a spider web, all things in nature are connected. Every animal and every plant relies on other plants and animals to survive. And when here's my aside on that, when we assume that we can replace one thing with something else, when we clear cut a forest and plant a different kind of tree there, when we plant land in ways that it's not native to that land, we're not doing any favors. It's kind of like the Charles Eisenstein book on climate. When he's talking about, he says, when we reduce everything into a commodity, we begin to think that we can do that. We'll cut down all the hardwoods and we'll put in a bunch of fir trees. No, not going to work. Not going to work. So, every plant and animal relies on other plants and animals to survive, including human beings. So we need to take a good look at our place in the web of life and appreciate that. The web of life isn't a chain, and it's not quite a circle. It's a complex interconnection with all life. And we're just beginning to realize some of that. The communication that happens between trees, all the little things that when you do something over here, it impacts something over there. We're just beginning to realize and appreciate that. And there are those who are going la 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 because they don't want to see that. It messes up their rhetoric about what is okay to do to Mother Earth. So here's the quote by Ted Perry that is often mistakenly attributed to Chief Seattle. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Good morning, good morning. So now I'd like us to just do a little deeper dive with some guided imagery with this. So not if you're driving, but I'd like you to close your eyes. Take some nice deep belly breaths. Going to that place within that is quiet and still. And I'm going to ask your angels and guides to bring in whatever imagery needs to be there in that place, creating a beautiful place for you to do this work. A beautiful place for you to feel your connection to the web of life. All right? So allow that place to manifest in your mind's eye and see yourself in the middle of it. Maybe you're sitting on a log, maybe you're sitting on a rock, maybe you're sitting on a bench. Wherever you are, you're kind of in the center of that microcosm at this point in time. Good morning, Linda. We're doing some guided imagery, so if you just want to close your eyes and breathe, we're going to practice feeling into your connection to the web of life. So as you sit there, I want you to imagine sending out a string from your center. It may come from your heart center, it may come from your solar plexus, whatever feels right to you. You're sending out a string, almost like you have a little launch thing, and you're sending it out, and it's a magical string. It connects exactly where you need it to connect, to something, someone, some aspect of nature. Good morning, Bobby. We're doing some guided imagery today. And then I want you to ask yourself, when that string, that magical string that's coming out of your heart or your solar plexus or wherever feels right to you connects to something or someone, I want you to ask yourself, how am I connected to this? Yes, by the string, but in what other ways? So I'll just make some stuff up here. If it's a tree, you're connected in the way of our expirations. Our breathing impacts the tree, and what the tree releases impacts us. We need the tree's energy needs us. Now I want you to send out another magical cord from your heart or your solar plexus, and it connects to something else. Maybe it lands in the dirt. Maybe it connects to a rock. Maybe it aligns with a bird that's flying in the sky. Doesn't impede the bird's progress, but it just attaches. Good morning, Jo Bell. And I want you to ask yourself where that one connected. How am I connected to this? So if it's the bird, maybe it's that we're both moving through the same airspace. The bird's higher up, but we're still in that same airspace, right? Sending out another string, and it attaches somewhere. Good morning, Angie. Glad you are here. We're just doing some guided imagery. So if you want to close your eyes, we're in the middle of nature. We're sitting in the middle of nature, and we're sending out these magical strings from our heart space or our solar plexus or third eye, wherever it feels like it needs to come from, and it's connecting to something out in the natural world. Could be humans, could be animals, could be rocks, trees, whatever. So now I'm going to have mine connect to a plant life. And the question, how am I connected to this? How am I connected to this? In terms of plants, sometimes we eat plants. Sometimes we use plants for their other properties, medicinal properties, or fibers that we turn into rope or whatever. But there's that interconnection. And what does the plant use us for? It could be harvesting. Could be spreading seeds. Could be all kinds of things. We sometimes choose to consciously plant plants, whether for eating or for beauty or whatever. So how am I connected to this? And then again, send out another string cord that attaches to something. Make this one a little more difficult where it's harder to see the relationship, okay? Like maybe there's a party in the middle. So for example, it might be a certain kind of plant that you know humans don't eat, but animals eat that plant, and then we eat those animals. Maybe that's the connection. Maybe it's sending out some of those strings to things that are connected to each other. So I'm going to make one up here. Maybe you send out 3 strings and it goes to the 3 sisters, corn, bean, and squash, which is an indigenous way of planting those plants because they benefit each other and humans and the animals that may take a nibble here and there. But the point is, we are connected to everything, everything. And it's when we sever that connection, when we buy stuff in packages in the grocery store, so we don't really know where it came from or what it looks like. Tell a little kid that package of hamburger is actually a ground up cow, and they have a little different relationship with it than they did prior to learning that, right? Some kids at that point naturally kind of become vegetarian. They're not excited about eating animals. Absolutely their choice, right? Good morning, Kathy. Glad you are here. So weaving yourself, figuring out what is my connection to all of these other things in life. If we look at this web here, it's connected to the plant life, isn't it? It's connected to the bugs that get caught in it. It's connected to the spider that created it in the first place. It's connected to me as I view it. There, out behind the motel, when I owned the motel in Rapid River, there was fields just covered with the webs. It was such a cool thing. In the morning when I'd take the dog for a walk, you could see all of these webs just glistening with dew. It was very cool. But again, to view all of these connections as sacred, and to thank them for their generosity in sustaining us. Yes, many people do prayers when they eat, but are you really aware of where that food came from and how it is serving you? Do you appreciate that? I know there's times that I don't. Practice feeling this connection to the web of life. Another thing that I think, when people become exhausted with life and they're moving in a frame of mind of attempting suicide, oftentimes they're subconsciously disconnecting from life. They're not feeling that integral place that piece that they serve in that web. They oftentimes will say, like if I'm working with someone who's suicidal, they oftentimes will say, people will be better off without me. You know, they've got this delusional thought process going on that somehow them stepping out of life early isn't going to matter to anyone or anything. They don't see these strings that we've just created. We've made some of them obvious. They don't see those strings and what the implications of that act are going to be. They try not to see that. I think when you choose suicide, you've disconnected a lot of those things to make that choice easier in a way. It's not an easy choice, but easier in a way. People aren't going to miss me. I don't matter anyway. The world will be better off without me. All that stuff is that disconnection from the web of life. So we want to keep ourselves fully connected to life, fully engaged with life. So if you're feeling, as we did this exercise, the imagery, if you're feeling kind of disconnected from the world, the universe, etc., Maybe practice this today. As you're walking around today, as a car drives past, send out a string. I'm connected to this person. I wonder how I'm connected to this person. Send out a string to the person at the grocery store who checks you out. I wonder I'm connected to him or her. Send out a string to the car that you're driving. Do I appreciate this vehicle? Are there times when I take it for granted? Really connecting yourself into the web of life, the things we've created and the things that were here before us. That's your mission for today. Again, I feel like this would be hugely important, and maybe share it with other people. As let's say I go for a walk with my daughter today and the dog. I might point something out and say to her, how are you connected to this? And she'll look at me like I have two heads, and then I'll explain what I did on YEMIG, and then she'll tell me how she sees herself connected to that thing. So take some time with this today. I really feel like this is going to be important and helpful as we all move forward. Have an awesome Thursday. Remember, you matter. You are important. You are no less than the stars in the trees. You belong here. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.